Hi everyone, this is Melanie Wynn here. It's so comfortable out here this afternoon. It's gonna rain, I can tell by looking at the sky. Um, I'm sitting inside my gazebo, and we got a rabbit. I just saw a rabbit. He's in my yard. He's a good-sized rabbit. Now and then you see rabbits. I come in my yard, and I love them. I love rabbits. And he goes in my yard and my next door neighbor's yard, but he's a cutie. He's a brown rabbit. He's not like too big. I think he's a baby, but he is so cute. Um, so I'm trying to think what I'm gonna say. So yeah, I slept till like 1 this afternoon. I was so tired. So, but it's kind of funny. I got up early yesterday, about 10 o'clock, and I didn't go back to sleep. But I guess I needed my sleep. Um, so I want to talk about my life in England because someone asked, on my comments about my life in England. So, well, I can tell you how I met my first husband, Mark. His name was Mark. We met on the internet in around 1997. It was the late 90s. And I was living with my mother still at the time, and we had dial internet. It was dial up. It wasn't like the internet we have today. So it was dial up. I was on a chat room chatting with some people, and this guy came up. And we started chatting. He said he's from England, and it took maybe a few weeks before we decided to exchange photos and stuff like that. And we did that. And also, I sent him a photo of me through the regular post, the mail. And we decided to exchange phone numbers and stuff like that. And I talked with his parents, especially his mother, and my mother talked with his mother. And at the time, he says, "My mom's gonna kill me because I'm been on the phone for a long time. I'm gonna get a high phone bill." That's all he kept saying is, "My mom's gonna kill me," because of that. So funny. And then when time flew by, we decided to meet in person. So I did have, I did apply for my not visa, my passport, and so we end up. I got my passport. I paid for the tickets. They were like $350 round trip. That was back in '90. Okay, I was booking my trip for the beginning of January of '98. So, the beginning of January of '98, I flew to England for my first time. I flew into this small airport called Gatwick at the time. It was a very small airport in London. And I was stuck in customs. I arrived in England at 7:30 in the morning, English time. I had, you know, it was jet lagged. I had jet lag, and there was a little bit of turbulence on the plane, but I was jet lagged when I arrived. And I was honest because when you go through customs, they're asking you what brings you to the United Kingdom, and I was completely honest. I said I'm meeting somebody off the internet. His name is Mark W. Mark W. So they had me there for about 2 hours, and I was in the back room. I wasn't in trouble. They were just concerned about my safety, which at the time I didn't blame them because I just met some guy offline. We did talk a few times and stuff like that and exchange photos. So the customs agent in London was really nice. So it took me a while to basically I was patient, So the immigration officer agent basically said to me, "We found Mark W. He's waiting for you. We're gonna bring him in so you guys can meet." And they had some few words with him, and then eventually I was let go, and they let me to stay in the UK. So they were like, enjoy your stay in the UK. I said, okay, thank you. I forgot to mention they need to ask where I'm going to be staying with. They have to ask those things, and I was completely honest about everything. I didn't lie, I told the truth. And yeah, so I met up with Mark, and he paid for our train and all that. So we took the train back to Nottinghamshire, England, Nottingham, which is not too far from London, maybe a few hours away on the train, about 3 hours. So we got on the train, and well, first before we got on the train, we went through the tube station in London, and they have very high elevators. Escalators. Escalators. I'm petrified of heights, mind you. I grab onto Mark because I'm petrified of heights, and he says, "Don't worry, I'm not gonna let anything happen to you." So I grabbed onto him, and I was fine when we came down. Then we went onto the train, and it was a nice train ride. We got into Nottingham within about 3 hours. And we arrived at a train station called Newark. And when we got off, his father was waiting for us in a red car. So it was very strange going, him driving on the left side of the road and the steering wheel's on the right. It was all weird, it was so funny. But when he introduced me to his father, and his father was awesome. I met his mother. I met his sister. Eventually, I met his brother, and at the time, his brother's first marriage. So we all got along. It was great, and it was at night. By the time it was at nighttime, his mother sent us to the fish and chip shop. They call it the Chippy, in the village. So she gave us money. We went and got some fish and chips because I love fish and chips. And the chips are about this thick. They're very thick. And good-sized fish. The different kinds of fish they have there at the Chippy, they have cod, plaice, or haddock. And I've had cod. It was delicious, and I enjoyed it. And then his mother introduced me to a drink called a shandy. It's like half beer with half clear lemonade or Sprite. Oh, it's so refreshing. I love shandies. I even make them nowadays still, once in a while. So, yeah, we got the fish and chips, and my ex-husband, well, now my ex-husband, he ordered curry sauce that goes for the chips. And at first I wasn't too keen on curry. Eventually I did try it, and I got to like it. But yeah, so we got back to the house, ate our fish and chips and all of that and whatnot. And then we had to make marriage arrangements. We had to make plans for our wedding. So we decided to get married. We were originally going to get married in Rhode Island, where I'm from. But at the time, we had a falling out with my father. It wasn't good. I don't want to get too much into details, but it wasn't good. So we were going to get married at First Baptist Church in the town of West Warwick, where I'm from. So after we fell out with my dad, we decided to get married in England. So his mother had to fly over to Rhode Island to give all her information before then we went over. We took the bus, me and my ex-husband and his mother, to Manhattan, New York. We had to go to the British Consulate office. I had applied for my marriage visa, and I didn't have to get no medicals. It's nothing like that, which is great. Nothing, no medicals, no blood tests. So we applied for the marriage visa, and then I flew back to England, and so my family came over, I think it was like the beginning of February of '99, because my wedding was the 13th of February 1999. So my family came over from the States to attend my wedding. It was my brother. He was like 11, 12 at the time. He was a kid. I was in my early 20s. It was my mom, my granddad, and my Aunt Joyce, and my best friend. God rest her soul. I miss her. She was there. And my mother was there for her birthday. Her birthday was on the 8th of February, so she was there on her birthday. And my ex-father-in-law, bought her a birthday cake. I thought that was nice of her. I mean, nice of him. Sorry, nice of him. Bought my mother a, birthday cake. We introduced my family to them. Everybody got along. We went out for pub dinners and stuff like that. Took my family on a day trip to London, and we had a great time. We did. It was awesome. And then Mark and I had to go pick out a wedding dress, and it was made for me by this lady named Wendy. God bless her soul. She was a sweetheart. She took in my mother and my best friend and my brother. So part of my family stayed with her, and my aunt Joyce, my mom's eldest sister, and my granddad stayed with this couple called Jean and Gus. They were wicked nice couples. I'm glad they took in my part of my family. And so Wendy made my wedding dress. She made my bridesmaid's dress. She didn't charge me. She was awesome. She was a sweetheart. I missed her. God bless her soul. So we got married by the Church of England, which is an Anglican Episcopal church. So we got married through the Church of England. And it was a nice wedding. It was beautiful. We had our reception, I think, at the church hall. So it was like a potluck kind of reception. I couldn't go anywhere on my honeymoon. I couldn't leave the UK right away. Unfortunately, I had to stay in the UK for a while. It's their laws and regulations. So me and my ex-husband had our honeymoon at a B&B, bed and breakfast, in Nottingham, in the town of Sutton and Ashfield. So, that's part of my life in the UK, but I can tell you more about my life in the UK in the next video. I'm going to say ta-ta for now.